Ladies and gentlemen, I am overwhelmed with joy because we're winning. It seems like it's been so long, we're winning. Check this out. I don't have the article pulled up, I just have the name because I thought that'd be easier. But you can look up the article yourself. If I remember, I'll try to link it for you. Um, Navy, Nascar, Major League Baseball, Target, budlight, etc. remove the LGBTQ propaganda. It's not material, it is propaganda. Now I'm calling it what it is. Now, the media is already spinning this in a way that says, oh, conservatives are just, conservatives, the MAGA Republicans, the dinosaurs, or whatever have you, are so offended, casting out LGBTQ material. They just hate the LGBTQ and everything and all that. They, now that's not exactly true, but I do think that's a good narrative to have. I do think that's a good narrative for them to run with. I didn't think about that myself. It was sort of pointed out to me, but that is a good narrative for them to run. First of all, in the Christian perspective, as Christians, we should be uncomfortable with sin. Because God will never lead you to sin. I said this a couple of times before. God will never lead you to sin as an answer. He just won't do it. Another reason I like it is, well, if that's the narrative, LGBTQ's not going to be cool anymore. That's the reason people like Dylan Mulvaney, among other social influencers, have come out as more LGBTQ over the past year. Because it's been cool, it's been the it thing. It's got you in a place, it's got you accepted. But just like that, price is over. These corporations caved. So, with the end of Pride Month, bye everyone. I'll see you next Monday. No, even though these corporations have caved, there's still some stuff I want to get into. Particularly, it's interesting because, and I've talked about this before too, it's interesting because I was all geared up to talk about what I was going to talk about today. I was geared up for it. But then, earlier today, I was thinking about it and I heard God, not in an audible voice, but I just turned God in my mind. I just got this feeling saying, why don't you wait till tomorrow? And I knew something big was gonna happen tomorrow if I was feeling like that, because I felt that a few times before. I know what that means. I know what that yak. But lo and behold, it didn't happen yesterday. It didn't happen tomorrow. It happened tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm extremely glad about this for another reason. It's an example. It's basically a perfect example of go woke, go broke. Now, woke, you may have heard me use that. You may have heard me use that a number of times or two on the channel. It means and one guy find it like this, but I think I have a simpler definition, and it had to do a lot. It had to do almost exclusively with these corporations. And I've thought about this before. It proved that these companies and the woke ideology are morious. I mean, they just support current things. You don't want to be bigoted. You don't want to be called a Nazi. You don't want to be called a discriminator, which are just words, but I understand that you have to do more nefarious things to you if you don't fall in line sometimes. But you could look up the riots if you don't believe me, and the people fired on Judge and everything on Sunday like that if you don't believe me. It is all out there plain today for you to see. But it proved that these corporations and, like I say, the woke ideology are meaningless. It just supporting current thing because you don't want to be called bigoted, you don't want to be called discriminatory, even though it can be called a true example of love. Indeed, as a Christian, because you're not supposed to accept these things. You're called to love someone higher than just surface level. You're called to love someone higher than just pride or lust or whatever. But there's a difference between pride and arrogance. And what a lot of these people were, especially the ones who participated in Pride Parade, they were arrogant. They were, look at me, I can flaunt myself, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. Now, not everyone on the LGBTQ side agreed with that, I've heard, but people did that was their mindset. Hey, look at me, and if you don't, you don't accept me? You don't accept what I do? You don't think I should be twerking in front of you? We don't think I should be doing other nefarious things in front of you or in front of your kid? You don't think I should be exposing myself like this? Well, you're a bigot, and I'm going to get you canceled on Twitter. And not just canceled, but I'm going to make sure your business is ruined. I'm going to make sure you grovel at our feet. Grovel at the feet of this satanic, prideful culture. But, like I say, the difference between pride and arrogance. Turn with me to Psalm 139:14. I really should have had my 5-year-old nephew in for this because he's been saying this as one of his Bible verses. Psalm 139:14. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. From that, we can tell, hey, we are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. We are called to take pride in ourselves, not pride in ourselves per se, but we're called to be proud of ourselves because of who God is. We're not called to give such vapid and meaningless life because we're called to something higher. We're called to something greater. I mean, everyone is. It's just a matter of whether they want to accept or not. And sadly, most do not accept. But that is an example of true love I'm talking about too. God does love you enough to let you walk away. We're prideful in God. We're prideful in the rainbow, which we're taken back from the perversion of the satanic cult. And we're proud of ourselves for what God has allowed us to do and what we've been allowed to do through God. Because did you know God is proud of you? You're His greatest creation that He has ever made. But He wants you to be humble. He does not want you to be arrogant. He does not want you to flaunt yourself. He does not want you to demand acceptance for nefarious things except in Him. He does not want you to kowtow He does not want you to kowtow the current trend. He doesn't want you to betray your faith. He doesn't want you to blaspheme the Holy Spirit. Because all of this, even if it doesn't seem like it, all of this will pass away. All of this will someday, all of it, will someday collect dust and be turned into dust through erosion and distortion over time. It'll be forgotten about. But the Word of God and God Himself will surely stand. And you will either go to one or two places. You will either go to heaven or hell. The devil wants you to have that kind of vapidity. He wants you to have that kind of nihilism. Because if you have nihilism and if you have vapidity, you'll get to the place where you say, oh, nothing matters. This world is going to hell in a handbasket anyway. Our economy is the worst it's ever been since 2008. So why shouldn't I do what I want? Well, you shouldn't do what you want. Well, for obvious physical reasons, but for spiritual reasons as well. Because you'll never be happy. We talked a little bit last week about the difference between happiness and joy. And it still remains with me that joy and holiness are above happiness. But you'll never even approach happiness, true happiness and true joy, if you're living in such stupidity, if you're living in such nihilism. Now you may have a full version of it that the devil wants you to remain in, but you'll never truly see those things. People today, they tell you, hey, you need surgery to be happy, you were born in the wrong body, you need all this, you need to give in to your sexual moral desires, there's no truth but power, there's there's no God but you. I mean, you just need a year for yourself because you only get one life. And in a sense that is true. You do only get one life. One physical life. But then you get a spiritual life. And that lasts for eternity. I can't even begin to describe to you what eternity is. But in the simplest terms, eternity is forever. And we can't even comprehend forever. But yet to say it is never ending, basically. So, what would you rather do? Would you rather trade in 70, 80 years of vapid for happiness and for joy to the devil for an eternity of burning and suffering and true depression and true nihilism and separation from God? Or would you rather separate yourself apart as God has, the wheat from the chaff, and separate yourself as someone holy, as an example of God's power, as an example of God's statute, and be truly something I was just thinking about. I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I will now. Just also this, delight in the Lord, and I'll give you the desires of your heart. He will do that. I mean, this world may be rough. This world may be tough, and you'll maybe not see which way is up and which way is down. You may not know which way to go. But trust in the Lord. Trust. Have faith. Keep on trucking. Keep on keeping on. And He will give you the desires of your heart. If you do delight in Him. If you do have faith. If you do have trust in Him. If you do keep up with Him. He will give you the desires of what you want. I sympathize with, because I know how powerful sin is. I mean, another thing people say, speaking to that, another thing people say is, God made me this way. Well, no. No, that is not true at all. God made you perfect. Well, indeed, He made Adam and Eve perfect. I would say His intention was to make you perfect. But when Adam and Eve ate of the fruit, sin, that is of the devil, that is of the father of lies, entered into you. And God cannot eradicate sin. Indeed, not yet. Because He wants to show us our need for Him. And He wants to, like I say, He does love us enough to let us walk away from Him. It's an unfortunate situation, but He does love us enough to let us walk away. When Adam and Eve ate of the fruit, sin that is of the devil infiltrated you. God does not create you with that, but it is a part of you because it's part of our spiritual line from Adam and Eve. It sin into their hearts and into their spirits, and it is part of the spiritual line from which we're descended from, unfortunately. But here's the good news. since God didn't create you with sin, God didn't create you with this kind of vapidity, this kind of naivism. You can get away from that. You can say, okay, God, I know it'll be hard. I know it will be. I know I have a lot of work to do. But I'm going to give you a chance here. I'm going to give you a chance, and I'll be along for the ride. You just tell me what you can do. And He will. It may not happen as quick as you want. It may not happen as quick as a snap, as quick as a flash. But He will ultimately show you what He can do and improve your life if you are faithful. And you will have joy, even in your lowest circumstances. If you have the Lord Jesus Christ, you will have joy. There will be suffering, but you'll have joy. And there will be suffering on earth. But what's suffering on earth as compared to hell? Guys, I love you. We're winning. Keep on keeping on. And I'll see you next Monday.